Hello, my name is David Hauser. I'm the owner of Morningstar Doors and Windows, located at 215 Adams Boulevard. I grew up in the industry since I was 10 years old, and one question that has always come up is, how does your product compare to Andersen? Let's take a look and check it out. Okay, so today we're here to compare the Andersen 400 Series Till Wash and the Weather Shield Signature Series Double Hung. The Andersen was initially introduced in 1996, which is a 22-year-old design, where the Weather Shield Signature Series Double Hung was introduced in 2013 and then redesigned in 2018. Now we're going to start with the Andersen, work our way outside to inside. The first thing I want you to take a look at is the materials that are used on the outside to protect the window from the elements and prevent it from rotting and other issues. On the frame, you're going to notice that it's a vinyl clad frame. The sash is painted wood. We have a vinyl glazing bead. A glazing bead is a material that holds the glass in so it doesn't just fall out, and a sash is a part that actually moves up and down. There's painted wood and vinyl, and then you also have Fibrex on the sill. Fibrex is a material that's made out of sawdust and vinyl. Andersen uses this from all the excess materials that they have from manufacturing product. Having multiple materials on the outside of the product when exposed to ultraviolet rays from the sun will cause you to have a multi-shaded product within a couple of years, because you have areas that are different materials, and when exposed, certain ones will fade faster than the other. Okay, while we're on the outside, we're going to take a look at a nail fin. A nail fin is this particular strip here. It's what your contractor is going to use to fasten this window to the house. This is a huge issue if it's designed poorly. Now on the Andersen, this is actually an add-on piece, as you can see here. It's just stripped into this little slot, and these two sections are not fastened together. The problem with this is that this can allow water and air to get into the house. A lot of energy companies that do blower door tests on your home will perform something, and if the contractor doesn't properly install this, you will fail an energy audit, or could possibly have water infiltration, which could rot out framing members of your home. Now comparing that to the Weather Shield, it's all one material on the outside, which is an extruded aluminum with the AAMA 2605 rated paint finish. You'll notice the aesthetic is gorgeous. The material is much better, and the warranty is double. This is a fully integrated nail fin, which means that it can't come off. It's all one piece. You can't fail the blower door test, you can't fail energy audit, and it's much easier to prevent any issues. The other major thing too is when the contractor is installing the product and he pushes it into the opening, this will stop at a particular point because it's solid and rigid, where the Andersen can just still continue to push in, and which could cause other issues for water and air to get into the home. Okay, so now we're on the inside of the product. Again, a double hung is referring to two sashes that move up and down, okay? Now, what if you're home and you want to clean this thing? Now keep in mind, this is a design that was introduced in 1996. So I'm just going to kneel down so you can see what's going on. This has what's called a compression jam liner. This is a jam liner. Notice how it has compression. What it's doing is it's squeezing the sash, making it harder to operate. Push it up and down. Now to have this tilt in, there's these two plastic wedges on either side. What happens is you keep going until that's wedged in, and then you bring this in. Okay? To do the top sash, these have to come back. This sash will come down. Now you have to wedge this out, get that side, and then while you're holding this side, get the other side, and then this will come in. So if you wanted to clean your window, this is a 1996 way on how to do it. Okay, so now we're on the inside of the Weather Shield Signature Double Hung. Just to note, this particular product has a pre-finished black interior, which can be outfitted with a black jam liner. A jam liner is this particular section. If you recall how I showed you the Andersen has a compression jam liner, meaning it compresses in and out. This is always a concealed jam liner, which means it's constant. It doesn't move or put pressure or squeeze the sash like the Andersen did. This can be fitted in tan, which we currently see, white, or I could do wood, and that wood could be primed, painted white, painted black, or stained, and there's a variety of different stain options. Now again, I mentioned this window was introduced in 2013, where the Andersen was 1996. So if you wanted to clean this, it's very simple. There's two little tilt latches right here. You just pull those in and it comes straight down. Very simple. And the top sash, same thing. There's two tilt latches and this would easily just come out. So now you're tilting in the 21st century. So if you recall, I was describing this jam liner squeezing the sash, making it harder to operate. We're going to compare the two so you could actually get a visual on how that is. Now I normally would try to use my pinky, but as you can see I can't. You'd have to put a lot more pressure to open this up. Okay, so now we're back to the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung. This has a concealed jam liner which does not put any pressure onto the sash. That's again the part that moves up and down. You'll notice I'm just going to use my pinky and this operates much easier. With the Andersen I couldn't do that. Okay, on the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung, there is an optional contemporary sash lock, which is what we're looking at here. There is no visible screws. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It is simple operation and it's clearly marked lock and unlock. When we have it opened, you'll notice the mechanism. When it locks, there's a metal piece that comes out and an additional piece underneath to prevent forced break-in from people trying to get into the home. Okay, so now we're looking at the Andersen 400 series tilt wash again. Each manufacturer offers different styles of locks. The ones we're looking at today are on the Andersen and the standard one. You'll notice that there's visible screws and just the standard mechanism for open close. Both do the same thing, but there's added features on the Weather Shield that the Andersen does not have, not only for security, but for aesthetic options. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the check rail, this particular area here. This is a very critical area of a double hung. Water and air can infiltrate if there's a bad design. When I tilt this in, you'll see what I mean. So looking at this particular section here, and this particular section here, you'll notice the only thing stopping water or air from coming in is one piece of weather stripping. There's no interlock. When we look at the Weather Shield, you'll see what an interlock is. It's two pieces that lock the windows together and prevent water and air from coming in at all, where in the Andersen, this is missing because it's a design from 1996. Okay, so now we're back to the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung. When I tilt this in, you're going to see that this has an interlock. This is a design from 2013. What happens here is there's a groove that sticks out past the product a little bit, running along right here. And when you shut it, there's another groove over here, like a male-female slot. What happens is when you shut the product at the check rail, which is the center of the double hung, they actually lock together, preventing anything from coming in. To demonstrate that, we'll use the dollar again. This is just a visual, but test data, which we'll have in the end of the video, will show you that this is more airtight and watertight than the Andersen. On the Andersen product, you'll notice that there is a nylon string as the main componentry for holding the weight of the sash up. You'll see something different on the Weather Shield. The issue with this is it also makes it harder to operate. There's a third party called AAMA, which stands for the American Architectural Manufacturing Association, and they give ratings to the balance system. This is a Class 2 balance. You'll see on the Weather Shield it's a Class 3 balance. You're probably thinking, what's the difference? The Class 2 is 40% harder to operate. You saw that before when I went to operate the product. It's not only due to the compression jam liner, but this balance system. It all makes it much harder to operate. So on the Weather Shield double hung, whether it's the Signature or any model for that matter, they all use what's called a symmetry balance system. The symmetry balance system is an AAMA Class 3, which is 40% easier to operate than the balance system that's on the Andersen product. How it works is there's a stainless steel coil within here. The stainless steel coil looks something like this. And if you could imagine a tape measure, the coil, and it's just basically laying it down and picking it back up. The coil rides here, and as you lift the window up, it's putting it down, laying it back down. This has a 20-year warranty compared to the Andersen's 10. This provides super smooth, easy operation and literally double the service life because it has double the warranty, 20 versus 10. Its main componentry to hold up the window is stainless steel, where Andersen's is nylon string. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Sill Design. A Sill Design of a double hung window, which is this area here, can either make or break the product, meaning it can allow water or air to come into the home or not. On the Andersen 400 series double hung, we have a sill design that's pretty simplistic. There's an angled sill with a little straddle gasket, which refers to this piece that's going to hook up with the weather stripping, and then a sill dam. That's pretty much it. When we take a look at the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung, you'll see that there's a significant difference. This is a basic minimalistic approach to preventing the problem. Okay, so now we're taking a look at the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung sill design and comparing it to the Andersen 400 series sill design. The first thing you're going to notice is the aesthetic difference. There is a sill interlock that protrudes straight out of the center of the sill coming up this piece right here. Its purpose is to lock into the center of the sash. So there's a route in the bottom of the sash here that it's going to sit right on top of this. There's weather stripping on the back side that sits in front of this sill interlock. Its purpose is to block any driving wind or water from coming into the home. So when you shut the sash, it's not just weather stripping on top of the sill. There's weather stripping on top of the sill plus this piece, and it sits right in the center of the sash. So you get much better performance. It's going to keep you more comfortable inside your house. And we have that high sill dam as well, also preventing anything from coming in. It's a much better design. We're now looking at a different area of the sill design, the bottom of the sash, where the weather stripping is placed. This weather stripping is very small and minuscule and is going to do a poor job at preventing water or air from coming in the home. Where I'm running my finger is where the weather stripping is, and on the camera you could probably barely even see it. That's how small and minuscule it actually is. Now we're looking at the Weather Shield Signature Series double hung sill design from a different angle. As we saw in the Andersen, there was just the weather stripping there. Now on this one, there is a route in the bottom of the sash. That is the area that hooks up with that bottom sill interlock. Behind that is this heavy-duty Q-Lon weather strip. It's a higher grade weather stripping than what Andersen utilizes. So we have the combination of weather stripping plus the groove design to hook up with the sill, which is going to create a much better situation of preventing water or air from coming in from the sill area of the unit. Now we're looking at a section of the window on the Andersen 400 series called the spacer system. It's the part that separates the two panes of glass that sits in between. Where I'm running my finger, you'll notice this mill finish metal material. This is made out of stainless steel. The problem with using a full metal bar in between the glass is it conducts hot and cold. Metal is a conductor. If it's super cold outside, that is going to get cold and then radiate it to inside your home, and same for hot temperatures as well. This is an issue and degrades the overall thermal performance of the window. Now we're looking at the Weather Shield Signature Series spacer system. Again, we're looking at a double pane system, and what's in between the glass on this is a silicone structural foam spacer. It's fully non-metallic and does not conduct any hot or cold air, so nothing gets transmitted from freezing temperatures or hot temperatures outside to inside. As we saw in the Andersen, it was a full metal bar that does conduct, and as we see here, it's a full non-metallic spacer that does not conduct at all and greatly aids in its overall thermal performance. The reason that Weather Shield uses this is clear. Now, when the system first came out, it was initially done by hand, but a couple years ago, Weather Shield invested in a fully automated machine called a Lysic glass line. This Lysic glass line is engineered with robotics to make the glass come out perfect every time, to eliminate human error and have issues that could cause seal failure or moisture buildup in between the glass. This creates the perfect scenario for efficiency and long-term reliability. As I mentioned before, Andersen is known as the best marketing company that happens to sell windows. The reason we use the 400 series tilt wash in our comparison is because it's the best-selling and most popular unit Andersen has.
When I'm asked in my showroom, how does this window compare to Andersen, I would always ask the following question in return. What was it about the product that made you want it, and what specific model were you referring to? 99% of the time, people did not know why they wanted the product and did not know what model they wanted to compare it to. The only reason they ask is because they've heard of it through advertising. Andersen's like the ivory soap of the window business. They've been around since 1903 and have done an excellent job of advertising. But should the decision on a large purchase for your home be solely based on whether you heard of a product or not? Do you think this is the pathway to finding out whether a product is better than its competitors? I think most people can understand that the question of asking how does this compare to Andersen is a thought that has been paid for through advertising, and solely basing your decision on hearing of a product should not be the only criteria on which to make a large purchase for your home. A thorough investigation of comparing the products side by side would make more sense to lead one to making an educated decision. There are other manufacturers, like we saw with WeatherShield, who've been around since 1955 that take a different path for drawing clients to their product than Andersen, which relies on name brand recognition through advertising, while WeatherShield's draw is the product itself. Its quality, the materials, the design, innovation, overall performance, and warranty. After seeing my comparison, do you think you're getting the best value for your dollar, or are you paying for advertising? A company can invest into the product itself or advertising. Which would you rather pay for?